Jake explains that he has magic dreams and has foreseen events from the future, many regarding Roland and the Man in Black's battle over the Dark Tower. This being a magic alien world, Roland instantly believes him, and the dynamic duo head off on adventures. A ton of people praise Idris Elba's Roland as the highlight of this movie, but honestly, I completely disagree. I don't think Elba was as good as most folks say he is. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Idris Elba sucks at all, but he's really not that great either. Roland is also totally out of character in parts, acting almost like a way different guy he is than in the book. Not quite to the same extent as Jake, but Idris really doesn't feel like the gunslinger. He comes across as every angsty 90s anti-hero you've ever seen. All Roland does in this movie is angst and act cold towards everyone, while his character arc overall is painfully predictable. Roland doesn't like Jake, but keeps him around since he's useful in his quest to defeat the Man in Black and save the tower, where naturally he grows to love his kid sidekick and slowly become besties with him along the way. Now, this type of arc does work in the novel and could have been great in film, even if overdone. But I don't buy any of the growing friendship between Idris Elba and Jake in this movie at all, since they have no chemistry together whatsoever. Not helping matters is the writing for Roland does not salvage any of his actors' attempts to give Deshane his depth. Roland is supposed to be this cool, hardened action hero, slowly regaining his humanity over the course of the saga. But the movie removes most of his unique traits and turns him into a rather generic jerk with a heart of gold who's good at shooting. Less deeper than his role in the Suicide Squad. Roland is boring. The film wants us to believe he and Jake are becoming BFFs over the course of the movie, but the writing is more focused on having Roland drop exposition and backstory from the novels that they neglect to make you feel for him as a person. Idris Elba's attempts at being dramatic also seem like he's disinterested in what's going on around him. I don't feel pity for him since he has almost no personality, and the magical world he's hyping up is just as lifeless as he is. So Roland is robbed of all his uniqueness just to make him easier to market towards action lovers, resulting in this unremarkable bad boy you'll forget as soon as the movie ends. Idris Elba, the man who brought Knuckles to life, is mega dull and so unpassionate as Deshane. This isn't helped by the fact that Roland's relationship with Jake is so weak. You kinda wonder, does Roland even like the kid? I know they slowly grew into buddies over the books course, but the film flip-flops between Roland growing to care for the kid's well-being and getting annoyed by him the very next second. A good chunk of the film is just Roland and Jake traversing this boring alien world, where Roland saves Jake every few minutes. He saves him from the blob that ate everyone. He saves him from El Chupacabra, and saves him from a cliff. Oh, but in case you thought the comedic fails were falling short, don't worry, because the relationship is also a total joke. You good, kid? Yeah, thanks for the save, buddy. It's cool. You handle yourself well, Jake.
You what?
You handle yourself well, Jake. He handles himself well? I'm not even kidding. After Roland saves Jake countless times and essentially drags his sorry hide all throughout Midworld, Roland praises Jake for taking care of himself when all he's done is run away, get into trouble, and cower. Quality writing, kids.
I just wanted someone to do Stephen King right.
Roland and Jake's relationship not only lacks any emotion, but is also super rushed. This movie compresses a metric ton from the novel into a movie runtime, and as a result, it hurts any attempt for newbies to get into it. Because they're speeding through so much crap, and Roland's only moments with Jake are him giving world-building exposition so we know what's going on, but there's just too much info. I hate Roland because he only feels butthurt a lot and just tosses the encyclopedia at us. You see, kid, the Dark Tower is the most important building in the cosmos. For if it were to fall, then monstrous beings will swarm all our normal worlds. What can possibly shatter a fortress that holds reality together? The man in black has been abducting children to power his deadly laser with soul energy, capable enough to break down its godlike structure. Hey, here's a stupid question. Why does McConaughey want to tear down this tower? I know it's explained in the book, and I'm aware of his motives from the original, but guess what? It's never explained why the bad guy does what he does, nor what he gets out of this. He wants to become a god, absorbing the tower power after blowing it up, but the movie never states this. So if you don't read the books, you're going to be confused by this and a whopping 80% of this film. There's just too much to consume all in one movie, and it never flows naturally. The flick crams in so much for us, and it's too hard to follow. Hell, what even is this place? Is Midworld even a parallel world? An alternate version of Earth? An alien domain? What?
There is a void surrounding the universe known as the macroverse.
Your first sentence isn't even over and already I can't follow it.
No, really, it's super easy to follow. I'm surprised they left it out of the movie.
The movie prioritizes its world building over the storytelling, and as a result, you fail to get people invested in what's happening in it, and we don't care about the characters. This really should have been a TV series instead of a film, because there's just too much.
There's a toy lodged in my brain.
Speaking of bad world building, we cut to the man in black, who's told there was an unauthorized portal access, which makes him pissed. I'm so pissed! Now you're probably wondering why the man in black hates people using their magic portals, despite leaving a fully functioning magic portal working in a random house anyone can get into. McConaughey finds his house pet dead, but senses a fantastical power at play, where he takes a splinter with Jake's blood on it to his chief minion, Rorschach. Oh, right. I totally forgot Jackie Earle Haley was in this. But let's be honest, so did all of you. Rorschach apparently has the power to taste magic and helps the man in black locate his magic kid batteries, where we get some detail about the boy's powers. Master, this kid has the most incredible power levels I've ever felt. This child may be able to power the laser with enough juice to topple the tower. Are you sure? Alright. Yes, the boy has pure shine. Yes, so diddly, Jake Chambers has the shining. The reason behind all his psychic dreams, his premonitions, and discovery of Midworld is due to him having the shining. This is another attempt to tie the King lore neatly together and explain Jake's magic. But you want to know something funny? In the novel, Jake didn't have the shining. Jake has some spell skills, but it was not the shining. The movie pulled this out its ass to make the fans think this was clever world building. Again, they totally made this up, and not only does it go against the novels, but it also contradicts the movie. How did the Dark Forces know Jake had the Shining or was important earlier? The parents called who they thought were random child doctors and gave zero evidence of his magic skills, and the reptiles were just going to take a random kid back to their world to be a battery on the off chance he may or may not have had the Shining. Huh?
That does not make sense.
It's a dumb change, which again shows you how little they cared for the original character and was only made to reference more of King's classics. Not to mention, turns Jake from a nobody finding himself into this epic chosen one with the most powerful power in the universe. So the kid is the key to everything rather than somebody identifiable. The film straight up implies that Jake's Shining is more powerful than Dr. Sleep, Carey, and Christopher Walken's minds, which fail to amaze since, spoiler alert, Jake does nothing action-packed all movie. Aww. But the man in black who hates everyone and everything is actually impressed by Kid Who's the Key to Everything and places a bounty on him. Jake's Shining is so ultra bossa nova that he can power the laser enough to sink the tower defense, and McConaughey will complete his scheme.
We shall call it the Alan Parsons Project.
Roland also realizes how epic Jake's Shining is, so he takes him to a village of seers to help decipher his visions. You know how Stephen King loves injecting unexplained psychic kids into nearly half his work? Well, the Dark Tower movie informs us that every psychic in the kingdom has the Shining, as Midworld is full of shining sages who use their incredible power to live their everyday lives and combat the forces of evil. However, the Dark Forces view them as a threat to their might, so they unleash monsters to kill them before their skills grow beyond their badassness. So remember, kids, every time you see a Stephen King movie with a psychic in it, they really have the Shining, and the monsters/villains are Power Rangers enemies that the Crimson King sent to crush the heroes.
Now we know!
And like I always say, remember, you know enough.
Jake is taught how to control his Shining by the town seer, Princess Mulan. Mulan helps Jake understand his powers and guide him in their ways, as this movie blatantly rips off Star Wars and basically treats the Shining like the Force.
Rip off!
Roland discovers the location of the Man in Black's villain lair, where he intends to use the village's old portal to invade it from the inside. The two bum around the village for the time while the seers repair their device, where we get more character for Roland and Jake, but none of it is good or even makes sense. You're the gunslinger, Roland Deschain of Gilead. You're here to save us all from the darkness. No, I'm no hero. I failed. The gunslingers are all dead. The darkness has consumed everything. There's no hope. What darkness? What are you talking about? These scenes of Roland's angst make less sense when he acts like the Man in Black has already won and conquered the world, when he hasn't. Roland claims that darkness has consumed Midworld, but we don't quite see that. This village is perfectly fine. We see like 2 monsters out in the forest, but that's it. He's acting like this wasteland was ravaged by demons and destroyed beyond repair, but we never understand that or even see it on screen. This village is full of happy Western townsfolk, not beaten down rebels just trying to survive, so it rings hollow. You see what I mean when I say it's hard to care about anyone in this movie? Because the plot fails to immerse you in this divine world of dark magic and never captures the tone of the book. They're just going through basic story motions without detail, resulting in a lot of confusion or disinterest.
Man, am I tired.
The only thing this crap tries to focus on is the relationship between Roland and Jake, but the writing behind them is just not good either because even the broship has contradictions. I'm going to strategize, kid. Rest up. Roland doesn't like me. What do you mean he doesn't like you? He's been saving your tail and praising you for handling yourself all movie.
Great continuity!
What, is Jake hoping he'd say, "That's my boy"? This sucks.
Man, am I tired.
Because we haven't had enough torture with McConaughey, we cut back to the Man in Black screwing around on Earth in an attempt to locate his shining boy. He interviews the dimwits who failed to capture Jake earlier, gaining the boy's file and home address. Yet, despite having everything he needs to be a threat, Matthew remains just as non-scary as ever. We're sorry we failed to obtain the boy, Master. It's alright. Alright, I forgive you. Really? Yep, now kill each other. Again, these scenes are meant to show off how evil and ruthless the Man in Black is, but it's so over the top and cartoonish that you just feel nothing but laughter. How are we supposed to dread this dude?
Are we driving cars or are cars driving us?
The Man in Black breaks into the Chambers house, where I guess we're supposed to fear him toying with the parents, but the adults are douches so you don't care, and McConaughey more or less acts like a Saturday morning cartoon villain, resulting in hilarity. Wowzers! This Chick-fil-A is so good! We don't have them on Midworld, or whatever alien planet I come from.
Well, who the hell are you to...
Kill yourself! Don't mess with the black or you'll snap! The Man in Black then, I think, mind controls Jake's mom into obeying him, answering all his questions, and show him the boys' room, where he somehow plays Batman's detective vision to recreate the kid's activities and sees the Shining drawings to learn how much he knows.
Sometimes you gotta go forward by going backward.
And at this point, I had to ask, exactly how powerful is the Man in Black? He can ooze evil around him, compels people with his sexy voice, replay past events, literally makes enemies drop dead, shoots fireballs, and can mind control anyone he wants. How the heck is he struggling to conquer reality when he's this powerful? In the book, it's explained what his limits are, but not in the movie, so yeah, it's a plot hole. This guy can literally take over the world and mind control thousands of people into serving him, or hunt down Roland and Jake, but for some reason, he never does. It just makes the bad guy and his scheme so contrived, dumb, and ridiculous because the plot has him pull new anime powers out his ass, and then immediately downgrades him when the story demands. If it wasn't bad enough that this epic monster is played by a rom-com clown, he's also a horribly inconsistent villain who you don't fear and changes when the plot says so, meaning that you never understand him or feel impressed by his shifting skills. I make logic my bitch! Though, this does also contain the one moment I actually did like from Matthew. After he gains his intel, he berates Jake's idiot mother for not believing him, and never even checking out the facility she was so eager to ship him off to. Basically saying what a horrible mother she is. Oh, girl, you really should have believed your boy, but you didn't care for him. In fact, you were so self-absorbed that you never saw how special he was. You just wanted to send him off to the asylum. But shame on you! Trixie's wagon says hi. All right. give credit, this is like the only time McConaughey feels menacing, and it's not often you see the monster call out the useless adults on being useless adults. So there's some good here. Unfortunately, this one good scene gets undercut later. Back in Midworld, the portal is fully functional, but the Man in Black's forces keep track of all doorway activity and pick it up on their sensors. So they dispatch an army of reptiles to crush the rebellion. We get a big action scene which is supposed to show off Roland's gunslinging skills, but it's pretty standard and forgettable. It's more or less a cheap CW fight scene, where we get goons getting shot or smacked around by the rebels and Roland. But the movie is rated PG-13, so they aren't allowed to go nuts or even show blood.
You stink!
I know the real Roland is a boss, but the movie makes Idris Elba a boring invincible action star who never struggles and is barely fazed by killing bad guys overwhelming this shanty town. He just shoots them all down with ease like Arnie, while in the novels, Roland lost 2 fingers and eventually the ability to shoot in both hands, giving him some obstacles. I'm just not invested in seeing blood sport gunning down stormtroopers in dull ways, who don't even scare him. Oh, but we get to enjoy another scene of Roland saving Jake, because the kid gets abducted once more. This kid is the most useless kid hero I've ever seen in a long time. Isn't he meant to be this divine shining warrior? You're telling me the same kid who blew up a house monster with his mind can't do the same to a Mortal Kombat minion with a lizard's brain?
Great continuity!
Oh, and the Man in Black watches the ambush with his Star Wars holograms. Never explained, where he learns that his archenemy, the Gunslinger, lives, and co-oping with the boy.
Gunslinger, we meet again! Once I have the brat, even your bullets, formed from the Excalibur, won't be able to best me!
Oh, right. The movie says that Roland is so cool that he made his pistol bullets from King Arthur's sword. Though, exactly how many did he build? The Excalibur sword is not huge enough to make thousands, and Roland literally wastes so many bullets in this film. So how did that one sword give every gunslinger trillions of metal?
Don't know.
Roland and Jake enter the Stargate, where they return to Earthrealm to recover from the attack. And by pure frickin' coincidence, this half-baked portal takes them precisely back to Jake's homeland, NYC.
Hey, what a coinky-dink.
We get a lot of fish out of water jokes because Roland just doesn't get our weird human stuff, and it's pure cringe. How's the soda? Too sugary. Needs salt.
My kids left me alone to die!
Wow, the tone of this dark fantasy story sure knows how to amuse, eh? Oh, but after some wacky Roland hijinks, the movie then tries to get serial when the duo find out that Jake's parents were killed by the sorcerer. But no Kitten, what should be a tragic moment is completely soiled when they see that the Man in Black left a smiley face made from the mom's ashes to taunt them. Yes, for realsies, he left a smiley face. A smiley face to mock them.
Smile face!
Folks, if you can't see how unscary Matthew McConaughey is as the Man in Black from this Joker gag, then you are blind. The Man in Black is just not scary, and this scene solidifies how goofy this clown is. Randall left a smiley face made of dung to mock the heroes.
I also roasted marshmallows from her glimmer. Alright, alright, alright.
And only now, upon seeing Jake cry for his mom, does Roland finally form a connection with the kid, where he vows to avenge him since it reminds him of how he lost his paw. And it's only in the final act. This leads to the gunslinger teaching Jake the ways of the gun. But spoiler alert, Jake never uses a gun at all for the rest of the movie. So this bonding moment is entirely pointless. Why even include a scene where Jake learns how to shoot if he never ever uses a gun in the rest of the movie?
Don't know.
Our heroes then interview a random homeless man Jake met earlier, where it's revealed that Chester A. Bum was one of the Shining kids the Man in Black drained for power at the
Laser
facility. So the heroes gain intel on the whereabouts of the Man in Black's base from him. Why did the Man in Black, a deranged lunatic who loves killing people, including his own goons, allow one of his tortured guinea pig students go on Earth, wandering as a homeless guy on the streets, instead of offing him?
Don't know.
This writing sucks so much, and it only gets worse.
You're the gunslinger. You got change?
No, that was a different life. How does this bum even know you if he was an Earth child abducted when he was 6?
Don't know.
So if you didn't hate the heroes by now, they presume to rob a gun store where Roland gains his iconic weaponry to face the Dark Ones. Our heroes, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a gunslinger. We live to protect those who can't fight back. Now, give me free bullets or I'll cap your knees. Just when they gear up, the Man in Black and his reptiles assault the gun shop, where a big battle breaks out. I do like how the Man in Black taunts Roland with his illusion powers, which he also pulled out his ass. But it does allow Elba to flex some acting muscles as he fuels with rage. Though this also goes against the book, as the Man in Black and Roland barely interacted up until the book's near conclusion, so it's all new material injected to get us to care about their rivalry. Meaning it'll confuse book fans this time, because this is all new content. And as always, this movie fails to make Matthew scary since he's still over the top, and even dumber, Jake gets captured again. This all-powerful, chosen one shining warrior gets endangered one more time.
Roland, save me! This van doesn't have special candy!
So the Man in Black finally has Jake Chambers at his mercy, where he proceeds to put him in the battery chamber to power his
laser
and destroy the Dark Tower.
Hello, Jakey Poo! The cat and mouse games end here! Now, you will use your special gifts to aid in the destruction of all life, and soon the tower will fall!
Do we have any real connection? This is like the first time we're ever meeting each other, and there's like no tension between either of us. You're the scary guy from my nightmares, yet I don't feel that impressed by you, and you don't know me. It's quite a letdown.
I guess it is, Kitten. I guess it is. Hook him up to the pain chair.
So the Man in Black connects him to the battery, powering up the
laser.
But when all is lost, right the hell out of nowhere, Jake masters his power over the Shining and slows down the Man in Black's plans. He uses his mind to weaken the
laser,
activates a Stargate to the lair, heals his pain, and sends psychic messages to Roland to find him.
That's not how
The Shining
works.
Folks, if you still doubt me when I say that the filmmakers didn't understand this franchise at all, well, The Shining pretty much turns into The Force just to give us a dumb action blowout where Jake finally masters his Jedi skills and summons Roland to save the day in in a cheesy Hollywood shootout that was never in the source material. I'll admit, some of Roland's fight scenes in the final fight aren't too shabby. There's some cool stuff like Roland sniping a sniper through his sniper scope, him reloading before the bodies hit the floor, and Roland reciting his gunslinger creed while wiping the floor with mercs. But there's an equal amount of dumb stuff too. Roland starts parkouring across the abandoned warehouse. The fact that the villains don't just disable the damn portal before he gets to it is mind-boggling. And some of the deaths are just goofy, undercutting any seriousness. Finally, I'm ready to do something and kill the last gunslinger. Ow, that hurt!
Weak!
That's it! I'll finish this right meow!
At long last, the Man in Black shares a rematch with Roland, and this is where fan opinions really divided. I know it's cool to finally see our hero and villain combat each other ahead of schedule, but the bad CGI really takes over and sucks me out of the fight, especially since we're expected to buy that Idris Elba is getting his ass whooped by frickin' Matthew McConaughey.
Bullshit! Bullshit!
Too late, Space Cowboy! This'll be your last rodeo!
Go back to Kubo in hell.
Strike one! Your dead dad-ass shot better than that! Are you a Goosebumps review? 'Cause you've been blocked!
Yeah, Roland begins to lose again despite the Man in Black using limited magic, which does show how impressive the baddie is for once. Yet, shocking, the film messes it up later. Roland gets the shit beat out of him and is down, where we do the cliched child cheering him on to get back up, kid. Jake looks into Roland's mind and encourages him to be strong enough to try again by reciting the Gunslinger's Creed and seeing how awesome his dad was. And we get to the worst part of the movie. Roland refuses to bend the knee and squares off with McConaughey one last time, where he pulls off a trick shot of ricocheting one bullet with another bullet right at the foe's heart before he can block.
You can't stop me! I'm invincible! Ow! I'm dead!
Fucking television!
Yeah, that's it! The Man in Black dies! And not only does one of the main villains of the entire saga die in episode 1, but he dies anticlimactically getting shot dead. After he pulls off his dead shot maneuver, Roland simply shoots the Man in Black regular gangsta style, and the bad guy's magic powers he's been using all movie suddenly vanish, and he keels over dead, getting shot multiple times in the most punk fashion possible. The Man in Black, personification of evil, is killed off, getting shot by cheap 99-cent bullets. Oh, and unlike how a ton of horror movies do, they never imply that he'll be back or survive this. He's dead. The movie kills off the Man in Black, who lives all the way to the Dark Tower finale, dead in the very first adventure. And all it took to defeat one of Stephen King's most powerful monsters was just to shoot him a couple times.
You big and furthermore, I'm gonna the mother of
Screw this movie! It wasn't bad enough Matthew McConaughey was horribly miscasted, but you went the extra mile to kill him off in a lame, cheap, anticlimactic, and truly hilariously awful fashion. This is about as bad as the Halo show's treatment of fake Master Chief. You know, how they made him get naked all the time and murder him, desecrating his corpse? The Man in Black gets that bad a rap in this. Go to Crimson Hell, movie.
Truth of the matter is, I don't like my movies either, but man, they just keep offering me money and I do it.
This can't be the end! I was supposed to be in the sequel!
You forgot, Black Man. You're working for Sony, where good sequels get canned. So, after killing the Man in Black, Roland saves Jake and they blow up the entire evil school base, breaking the
Laser.
and killing all the kids still trapped inside.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm not even joking. Roland shoots the laser generator upon escaping with Jake and everyone there. Both the remaining minions and the poor kids abducted by them are all blown up. The heroes ditch the other kids in the doomed base. We never see them ever again, so yeah, they're all either dead or trapped in Midworld, away from their fam forever. Dang, Roland has a higher body count than most Stephen King villains. This is a horrible ending, yet the movie plays it up like a triumphant moment.
That is whack.
But we thankfully get to our quote-unquote heartwarming ending. Roland and Jake finally become bros. He says, "That's my boy," and they tease future adventures that are never gonna happen because this film bombed. Well, kid, I'm sure you're traumatized for life after losing your parents, getting tortured, drained like a battery, and learning that magic exists. So, how about you join me combating aliens and space demons across the cosmos?
Are you kidding? This is the happiest day of my life!
Ocean man, take me by the hand, lead me to the land.
And they stuck this series back in development hell while fans flocked back to the books. Anywho, that was 2017's The Dark Tower. More like I need a shower, cause that was so awful I need to take 20 to wash off the foulness of this feces. It sucks. The Dark Tower movie sucks. This concept had so much potential, and even despite downgrading the massive ideas to smaller scale, they still fail. It's almost unrecognizable to the book, feeling more like it wants to be a Star Wars or Marvel movie rather than a true love letter towards King's work of art. Everything that is wrong with Hollywood adaptations is in this movie. Purging all the abstract concepts so it's easier to market, compressing a long story arc into a generic popcorn thriller, altering beloved characters into tired old cliches, cheaping out on the budget, relying on a devoted fanbase to sell tickets to, instead of attempting to actually put in effort to give them a faithful work showing off how good this tale is, making dumb changes to win over newcomers, blowing off the loving fans who wanted to see their story come alive, bad effects that look worse than a CW show, horribly miscasted actors, lack of emotion, piss-poor world building, piss-poor storytelling, rushed pacing, ugly cinematography, hiring idiots who fail to grasp why the original was so enjoyable, and worst of all, making an enticing dive into a horrific yet magical dream world boring. The Dark Tower is not only a bad representation of a saga on par with Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, but it's also dull. You do not care what happens in this story because it fails to capture the excitement or make anything from this world cool. This movie's such a forgettable mess, and to me, a movie that's forgettably bad is the worst sin you can get, because it means you'll forget it in a day. The Dark Tower is easily one of the worst Stephen King movies ever made, if only because its sad fall is one you will never remember. So I give this pile of crap a decayed skull and don't recommend it unless you want a cure for your insomnia. This movie, cat?
on! Looks like Scaredy Cat gets the final joke.
You are just awful. You're one of the worst actors in the history of film, and I think that you need to go away.
Oh, thanks, man. The truth is, I spend at least 90% of my year going away, exploring exotic places, having sex with my beautiful girlfriend, just doing sit-ups. I mean, that really, and then counting money. Money that I've made off the terrible films that I put out into the American populace because they just love to see me doing what it is that I do.
Yes, but you're not hearing me. Dazed and Confused was the one thing that was passable. After that...
Oh, thanks, man. That actually launched my career.
After that, everything else was awful. Contact, they didn't even need you in that movie. They could have done the whole movie without you.
I know, I said the same thing, but they were just like, oh, we need a good-looking guy with a great ass and some tight abs to just provide some down-home enthusiasm in this picture. Something to counterbalance Jodie Foster. They took her to be slightly cold, unapproachable, you know, so they put me in there. I said it didn't make any sense. Said the same thing about that Bill Murray elephant movie, but they were just like, oh, the audiences need you.
You make me physically sick to my stomach, and I wish that you would get a heart attack.
I totally feel you, man. Truth of the matter is, I don't like my movies either, but, man, they just keep offering me money, and I do it, and then I get to go around the world. I mean, did you see Sahara? But I'll tell you what that movie gave me was an opportunity to take an Airstream all across the country and sell that picture one person at a time.
You suck donkey ass.
Now, you can't prove that.